Hello and welcome to another of Mrs. Patnell's phonics lessons. This is Group 1 phonics. Oh, hang on, I've chopped my head off. This is Group 1 phonics. Bear with me a moment. So, we are learning to do the phase 2 single sounds. We have learnt this big batch already so far, and then we're going to learn another new sound today. Now, yesterday and the day before, we learnt the kicking k sound. So it was k, 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 using our castanets. And we also learnt it before that. Let me find him. Where is he? We learnt him in a curvy way, making the k, k, k sound. So we had the curly k, and we had the kicking k. Now our sound today is this one. It's both of those together, the curly k followed by the kicking k. So curly k first, kicking k after it, and this together they make the k sound. But only one k. We don't blend it as k, k. It's just one k sound, but they're together being friends, okay? This is mainly at the end of words, or at the end of something called a syllable. Now, a syllable is like a beat in a word, okay? So for instance, I've got the picture of a rocket on the back of my flashcard. So if I was to clap the beats in the word rocket, they would be the syllables, okay? The beats in a word. So let's try it. Rocket. 2 syllables in rocket. So the k sound comes at the end of the first syllable. So rock, and then et. So it comes at the end of the rock. So if you ever get the k sound at the end of a syllable or the beat in a word, or right at the very end of a word, like just rock, you can hear the k at the end, then this is usually how you will make it, using both letters, curly k and the kicking k. So if you're writing words like rock, or you're writing frock, if you're wearing a dress, or if you are writing lock, like you're going to lock something up in a cupboard, then you will hear that k sound at the end of the word, and this is how you will write it, using both letters, but still only making one k sound. Now, we have a special name for sounds that have 2 letters, but they're just making one sound together, and they are called digraphs. So this is our first digraph we're looking at here. 2 letters, but coming together as friends, making one sound. And for this one, it's just one k sound, okay? So that's today's sound of the day. We will have no trouble writing it in a moment, because we wrote the curly k this week, and we wrote the kicking k. Now we've just got to remember to put them together to make the other k sound. But let's go through our flashcards first of all. So we know that this is k, and we know that this is k. So let's look at the other sounds. We've got s, we've got t, t. 2 arches, so we've got the sound. Just the 1 arch on this one, so this is the This one here is the sound, and this one with the loop at the bottom, it is the g sound. This one here is the p sound. This little one with the dot on the top is our I sound. This one here that we started like we came out at the top and curved, went underneath and did a little arm out the top. This one is our O sound. O, O, O. Like we're switching our light off for on and off for off. And then this one, our last flashcard here, is our D sound. D, D, D. Like we're playing our drum. So they are all the sounds we've learnt so far. And then back to today's sound is our sound. Another way, a third way of making the k sound, usually at the ends of words or the ends of syllables, the beat in a word. So let's have a go at writing the k sound that comes at the ends of words and the ends of syllables, our digraph k. Let's take our boards or our paper. I'm going to give mine a clean. Now, we're practicing this, but we do know how to write both of them because we've practiced them both this week, but we want to get used to writing them in the right order. So it must be curly k first, followed by kicking k. So for my curly k, I start here and I cursively whoosh up and curve round. I follow that curve back round this way and curve underneath. There is curly k. And because he comes first, he's with his friend making the k sound. So I'm going to come much taller for my kicking k. He's a tall fellow. Back down to the floor or the bottom. And then come halfway up and do the loop and the kicking foot. Now this was yesterday's sound, so we've not had a lot of practice with our kicking k. And actually my one seems to have his kicking leg up a little high in the air there. So I'm going to do him again. So the k sound, the digraph k at the ends of words and syllables. I curve round for the curly k. Who is pretty easy, isn't he? Kicking k a little bit more involved. Whoosh up tall, down to the bottom, up halfway to do my loop, and then bring your kicking foot down to the bottom. And there is the k sound at the ends of words and syllables, the digraph k, curly first, followed by kicking. So if you see that in your reading books, you know not to go k, k. It's just one, and I'll draw a sound cradle, just one k sound at the bottom. And that is the sound of today. Okay, so not k, k, just one k sound for the sound of the day. Right, let's see what I've got planned for you today. We are going to revisit some sounds, okay? So we have had a go at writing today's sound of the day. We're going to have a go at revisiting p now as well. P, p. So, lid off of pen. We are going to cursively whoosh up. You can see mine. Go down low, dip its tail in the water, come back up to the top, go round, and then tickle its belly to finish. And that is my p. I'm going to stand up and do this because I'm trying to write it from behind and I can't really see what I'm doing. So let's do it again. We cursively whoosh up. We come down even lower than our cursive whoosh because it dips its tail in the water. Back up to the top, go round and tickle the belly to finish. And that is your p. Now let's also revisit an n. If you can't remember n, let's see if I can discover him in front of me. N looks like this. So one arch for n. So we're going to go up, down, back up and over with one arch and a flicky foot to finish. There's he's quite nice and straightforward. Let's do it again. Whoosh up, down, back up, over and a flicky foot to finish. There's our Now can we revisit doing, let's go with d. Just in case you've forgotten what he looks like, let me find you a d. Where is he hiding from me? Oh my gosh, I don't know. I think I've gone past him at the very top. Sorry about this. Here he is. There is your d. Okay. So we are going to cursively whoosh up and start to curve. Come back round the curve. Go up the side really tall. Back down that line and a flick to finish. Okay. Let's do him one more time. Cursively whoosh up and curve, so do it with me at the same time. Come back round the curve, just like a curly cut, doesn't it? Come up the side and go tall, back down to the bottom and a flick to finish. There is your d. So keep practicing that after the video if it's a bit tricky. And then last of all, can we have a go at doing o? O is this nice one, but I do find that often you'll draw a circle and draw the lines on afterwards for a cursive one. Try and do the whole thing without taking your pen off. So watch me if you can't quite remember. Cursively whoosh up and curve, just like you're doing a curly cur. Come round underneath. Oh look, there's a curly cur. but I've got to remember to go up the side and join the lines for an O with a little arm out the top to finish, and that's my cursive O. One more time. Cursively whoosh up and curve like I'm doing a curly K. Come back round like a curly K, but go up the side and a little arm out to finish. And there is my O. Fabulous. Okay, I think that now we will have a go at playing Buried Treasure. So I'm going to put my lid on my pen, move our flashcards to one side, and take my dustbin and my treasure chest. So the real words are going in my very stiff treasure chest, and the rubbish words will go in my flippy bin, okay? Now I'm going to tilt my camera a little so you can see the treasure chest and the bin, so that you can point to them on your screens if you want to. Okay, otherwise you can call out real for a real word, or rubbish for a nonsense word, or you can do thumbs up for a real word and thumbs down for a rubbish word. Okay, so my pile of words here, they will have the sound of the day. So remember, the sound of the day has a curly K and a kicking K together, but just making one K sound. So look out for that sound of the day. I assure you that will pop up, okay? Right, I'm going to put a few sound buttons and cradles on for you to help you. Now, the reason why I'm now talking about cradles is because I use a cradle when it's two letters making one sound. So I draw a line underneath them, so you know it's two letters but making the one sound. I don't know if you can see that very clearly, okay? So rather than using the single dots to show you one single sound, I use a line to say two letters but only making one sound. Okay, so I'll put some sound buttons and cradles on to help you out to look for those. So my first word here on a coin, here it is. So there are 3 sounds to find, 2 single sound buttons and 1 digraph, okay, with a sound cradle. So have a look at those letters and blend them together to work out what the word says. Have a go by yourself, pause the video. I'm going to do it with you now. The first sound on the sound button is T. The second sound is I. The third sound is the sound of the day, just one K sound. T-ick, t-ick. Tick. Real or rubbish? Tick. Have you ever heard of tick? Yes, I give lots of ticks out if work is really, it's really good. So popping that into the treasure chest. Okay, next one. I'm going to put on the sound buttons to help you out because it's tricky to look for that digraph now, okay? So 3 sounds, single sound, and then a digraph on the end. Ooh, could well be the sound of the day. Pause the video to have a go at reading this coin. I'm going to do it with you now. We've got G. G-ack, g-ack, gack, gack. Real or rubbish? Have you ever heard of the word gack before? I have to say I have not, so I think gack is rubbish. Into the bin with gack. Okay, next word we've got here. I'm going to put on those sound buttons and the cradle for the digraph. Here it is, okay? So you have got 3 sounds to work out, 2 single sounds and a digraph. Ooh, is it the sound of the day? So we have got, pause the video to have a read yourself, but I'm going to do it with you now. We've got p-ack, p-ack, pack. Real or rubbish? Have you ever heard of the word pack? Yes, you can have a pack of cards, a pack of crisps, well, packets of crisps. You could pack your suitcase. So it's a real word into the treasure chest. Let's see what's coming up next. Put some sound buttons on for you. Here it is. Have a good look at this coin. 3 sounds, 2 single sounds and a digraph on the end. Is it the sound of the day? So your first sound is s-ick, s-ick. It is sick. Hope you're not eating your lunch at the moment. Sick, is it real or rubbish? Sick is a real word, isn't it? Goes in the treasure chest. If you're feeling a bit poorly, you might be a bit sick. Okay, let's have a look at this one. Sound buttons, here it is. We've got 3 sounds here, 2 single sounds at the beginning and then a digraph on the end. So have a look at that. Think of the sounds you know from the flashcards and squeeze them to blend them together to read this word. We have got g, ik, g-ik, gick, gick, gick. Real or rubbish? Ever heard of the word gick? No, never heard of gick, so that's going in the bin. What is a gick? Right, let's go with this one. Here it is. Another sound, another word rather, on our coin. We've got 3 sounds there, 2 single sounds and a digraph. Be blending them together. What are the sounds they make? And squeeze them together to read them. So we have got s-ok, s-ok, sock. Real or rubbish? Sock. It's a real word, of course. No doubt you're probably wearing a pair of socks right now. Into the treasure chest. Okay, another one here. This will be our last one. 3 sounds again in this word. 2 single sounds followed by a digraph. It is the digraph of the day. See if you can remember the sounds they make and squeeze them together to read them. So we have got p-ik, p-ik, pick. Real or rubbish? Have you ever heard of the word pick before? Yes, I might pick a strawberry or I might pick my favourite colour. So it's a real word in my treasure chest. Excellent work with that today. Very good indeed. Let's pop that over there. Okay, to finish, I've got some sentences for you. Now, they only contain the words, the sounds that I have taught you so far. I'm going to add sound buttons and cradles because this is the first time we have looked at reading sentences together. I'm trying to get you to have a go at reading it first. So, I am going to add sound buttons to help you out because now we're starting to have digraphs. We need those sound cradles to help us see those digraphs. Otherwise, we might want to blend them as k, and we need to know it's just one k sound, okay? So look out for the sound cradles made with a line to remind you that the sounds are working together as friends, okay? Now, here is your first sentence. I want to point out a few things. This is a capital A. Okay, and because it's the beginning of a sentence, that's why we use a capital one. So if you're looking at that thinking, what is that? That is a capital A. Where's my A to show you what I mean? Oh, he's going to be at the bottom of the pile again, isn't he? Here he is. So that's just a capital version of A. Okay, that first letter. So when it's a word by itself, though, we tend to say A because it's a word all by itself with no other letters with it. So this will be A. It's also got lovely finger spaces between each word in the sentence. So we can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 words in total. And it has this dot after the last word. That dot is called a full stop. That tells us it's the end of our sentence. Okay, we've finished reading the sentence at that point. So you can have a go at reading this by yourself by pausing the video if you want to. Excuse me. But I am going to go through it now. It's probably best we do a couple of them together. So we've got that word A. It's the A letter, but when it's a word by itself, we say A. Then we've got 3 sounds in this word. D, O, G. D, O, G. Dog. A dog. It's, is. A dog is. Oh, look, sound of the day on the end here. The digraph made with a sound cradle. So we've got s, ick, sick. Sick. A dog is sick. Oh dear, I hope he's not too poorly. Well done with that sentence. Right, let's try this one. We're going to do this one together again because it's quite a long sentence. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words in total. Finger spaces between words, which makes it much easier for us to read. If it was all squeezed in together, we wouldn't have a clue where one word started and one word ended. So it's very helpful to have your finger spaces. And a full stop at the end to say, this is the end of my sentence. This here is a capital D. Okay, so it still makes a D sound. So here's another d here. It's the same sound, but it's the capital version because it's the very first letter on the sentence, okay? So we have got d-ad, d-ad, dad, k-an, k-an, can, dad can, pack, pack, pack. Dad can pack a cap, cap, cap. Dad can pack a cap. Of course he can. He can pack a cap in his suitcase if he wants to. Okay, last sentence. Much shorter one, this one. This is a capital, but looks much like the lowercase one, so it's just a p. It has finger spaces between each word and a full stop to say that's the end of the sentence, okay? It also has, look, the sound of the day digraph here. I wonder if you could have a go at pausing the video and reading that yourself. But I'm going to do it with you now, okay? So we've got p, I, sound of the day, k, p, ick, pick, a, cat, 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 pick a cat. Oh, sounds like someone's getting a new pet. So if you read that by yourself, then that's amazing. Honestly, fantastic that you'd be reading your first sentences by yourself. Oh, let me tilt myself up. So that is the end of today's phonics lesson. We've learned our new sound k. 3 ways we now know how to make k. Tomorrow, or rather next week, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Next week we'll learn another new sound, and we've only got about 7 more sounds to learn in phase 2, so you are doing fantastically well. And I will see you again next week for the next lesson. Bye-bye.